Today, I'm going to be talking about Rain's character progression. And basically, the idea for this is really just in the name. Going back to when the character was first made, having a look at how her design started as probably a Sonic X recolor, and going through all the way through the years, last 10 years, I can't do math, I think 2008 to now is 10 years, or 12 years, and seeing what changed and why. But yeah, it's mostly going to be me talking and showing you a whole bunch of pictures and really bad early on art. So let's like cringe together, because I don't know how many of you guys have seen this. So I decided to come up with my character Rain, and that was just all she was known as. And the reason she was called Rain is because my best friend at the time made a character called Lightning, and I thought, hey, Rain and Lightning go together since we're best friends. And I think my friend had actually gotten me into Sonic. I didn't really know too much of the games or the TV series. My first Sonic game was Sonic Heroes, and I decided I saw everyone doing Sonic X screenshot recolors, and I thought that seems like pretty fun, I'm going to do that as well. So I went on to MS Paint and just did what everyone else did and got the polygon tool and went over all of the pictures of Amy that I could grab, all the different expressions, because people at the time on YouTube were into making like Sonic episodes. So I decided to do that too, and I made Rain. And at the time I had purple hair, so I had brown hair, but I'd always wanted purple hair, and so I made her a brown-haired hedgehog, looking the exact same as Amy. Just went over and gave her, I think, maybe started off with blue eyes. It kind of maybe changed to red at some point, and I gave her a blue dress instead of a pink one, a red one. Sorry, that's why I'm describing it, because I don't actually have those Sonic X screenshots anymore because my hard drive is broken, so I can't get into them, so I need to describe it. What I do have though from 2008, as we can see here, I have all of the lovely folders that I've categorised all the dates into and all the designs into. I have some early drawings. So the first one that I've found from 2008 is this one. And just looking at it is like, oh my god. Because I remember drawing it and being like, yeah, it's my character, and being so proud because I had always ever just like done the recolors, and it was my first time actually trying to draw it. And just looking at the proportions is like, God. And you can see the date on it. It was the end of 2008. So I liked the idea of giving her like a spiked choker because I was trying to be a goth at the time. And our armband, our sleeves, were black and purple because I actually owned a pair. I managed to find a pair of like gothic gloves that were like wrist high gloves. I just wanted to fly my own touch while she was wearing a dress. I didn't like dresses. Yeah, fair. This one, some people have seen this one, some people haven't. But to me it's nostalgic. But also I don't mind looking back at this stuff. Some people have heard like they regret that they've deleted a lot of their old things because then it means that they can't see it, but also it is major cringe anyway, so I don't know why we would want to look at it, but I don't mind. I tried to keep as much as I could. A wee bit of a hoarder because now I've got like terabytes of images and songs and videos from when I was 12. It's like who is going to look at that apart from me, unless the hard drive breaks. At that time as well, I didn't have a graphics tablet either, so there was no... Digital was like quite difficult. I only had my laptop, and so we just used not even a mouse, like I didn't even plug in a mouse or anything. It was just the pressure pad, so you're sitting holding the button like this, going every single wee line. So it was really difficult at the time. So it's like I definitely know how far we've come with technology. It's quite interesting to see, because there was also these websites online that you could. It was kind of just before like DeviantArt and everything became a thing, like the art websites. There was these websites that you could create your own website, if you get me. I know I've said website far too many times, but it let you, like, you would just get a selection of GIFs or like sparkly. It would be like images, but they've put like a whole bunch of effects on it. And there was an artist on there called Shade, I think it was Shade, and she drew like really good, just like Sonic art, and it was always just like in a basic standing pose. And I remember it was like the first picture of Rain that I'd like basically requested off of someone else in the community, and she was the type of artist that everyone, like, she literally did so many drawings. I'm not surprised. Like, I don't know, I honestly wish I could find out where she was or who she was, because that's literally all I have of her. Like, she always drew shadow and stuff, and it was just, it's funny just how you can lose some people. I've managed to find quite a lot of the old artists that I followed, but not all of them, which is sad. Like, I like to know where they've gone. Now I feel embarrassed about sharing this one. I don't know why. I seem to like just wanted things to be dramatic in my story, so I drew a picture of Rain like being kidnapped. Look at how he like square. So I don't think I really used obviously like the pen tool or anything. It was just like the polygon to make shapes. But I don't want to stay on that one because it's just really bizarre. Look at those arms. It's just so embarrassing. Yeah, I like the stories to be dramatic. I kind of, at this stage, I just this. Oh, why does that say? The dates on that. I think I meant to say 2007 to 2008 because I've wrote 2012. Yeah, dramatic scenes. It's just the drama though. That's what makes it fun. And then as the next year later, it got like a wee bit more interesting, where you can see that her hair changed from a light brown to dark brown and dark purple, and I decided to make her eyes that black colour. Now, she did normally have, in this style, she had yellow eyes, and then when she got angry or emotional or whatever, it changed to red, and I decided to add bat wings. So she kind of started off as like a hedgehog like Amy, and then she went to, not in this one, you can see like I still literally never, well, there's this one that's got a tail. You know, she's got a cat tail, so she became a cat, and then I added wings on it because I like the idea of her being able to fly. So I was like, well, and I wanted to try and think, well, there must be a reason why that is. Like, I just didn't want it to be out of nothing that she could just fly. So I was like, well, maybe she could be a hybrid of a hedge cat and, or so a hedge cat. I don't know why I just didn't say cat. Hedge cat, bat. Because some people did the whole mixing, so it was hedgehog and a cat together, gave you a hedge cat. But I was like, okay, why don't we just make it a hedge cat bat and fling that on the end, because it makes perfect logical sense, you know, to a 12-year-old. So this one, to me, I'm like cringing, pure. And I did R for Rain. And I remember at this time as well, I started putting around her neck, not on this one, but like I made it that she had a choker that said R on it, and so many people were like, that's Team Rocket. Like, it's not Team Rocket, it's Rain. But it kind of was inspired by Team Rocket, because at that time, don't know if there's an artist you guys know at the time, was called Invisible Zim. It was kind of like Invader Zim. She still does some Invader Zim stuff now, and she did a lot of like Pokemon art. But it was like Team Rocket Pokemon that had been experimented on by Team Rocket, and they had like their physique had changed, and so their thing was Rocket. Oh, it was called Rocketchu for Pikachu, so it had an R. And I was like inspired by her a lot, which I've actually found her on Twitter and I still follow her. This one, Rain. So the character on the left is not Rain. It's not like Rain splitting in like who she is. It was actually a character I had called Midnight, which I actually completely forgot about until I found this image. I was like, oh my god, there's Midnight. Like, I've literally not thought about her since I was 12. And I can't remember exactly. I guess at this point I just kind of made them because it was fun. Like, I don't really have anything, you know, they didn't really have backstories at this time. They were just a thing. And RPs were just events that happened. There was no backstory. I just didn't think of any. I just drew because it was fun. I honestly don't know why. I feel like I regret this design change the most. She had another few design changes. Yeah, I could probably redraw Midnight and make her a thing. I was actually thinking about that myself. In between 2009 and 2010, like before she went to this next one and the third design, she was, or it might have been before she went dark, I'm not sure, it was in somewhere around this time. Rain had like a different parted fringe. Like instead of it being like Amy's spiky quill fringe, it was like this way. I'm not sure. And that's really the only way I can describe that without having pictures of it. And for some reason, I got dead into like felines and big cats, so I decided to make her a panther. And don't ask me why I did pink. I honestly do not know, and I regret the decision extremely. Like, look at it. I don't know why, it was just a pure spontaneous spur of the moment thing to do. I just feel so embarrassed by it, like, but I leave it online, you know what I mean? Because you need to see where you come from, you know, and to know not to go back to that place. Pink, because I was like, maybe I should try and be more girly instead of a goth. It didn't really work, did it? And so instead of it being pink, I decided, well, I'm just, fuck that, I'm going to go back to doing red. And she went back to red, but I changed her skin tone as well to see how that looked, because I wanted to like be interested in Shadow as well, because Shadow has a more darker, more yellow kind of skin tone compared to like Sonic's pale one. So I still tried to use some of like the original Sonic characters to be an influence in my art, but I ended up I just was like, nah. And she's got a cat, she's got a panther tail there, so I mean, I was better at drawing tails then than I am now. Like, I literally never add tails anymore. I always need my friends to remind me to add tails on. Then it went on to this one, a wee bit more current. This one, she was maybe this design for the longest. Okay, so there, it's changed to a wolf. She went from a panther to a wolf. That's another design that's missing as well that I've just remembered. So when it was hedge, cat, bat, I also got interested in foxes because I wanted to have her like big ears and fluffy tail, so I made it hedge, cat, bat, fox because she still had the wings, so that had to be explained. Then I was like, hedge, cat, bat, fox, wolf. Then I was like, you know what, let's just put an end to this long name of bullshit that we've got going on at the end and just be realistic and make her just a wolf. And this is what we got. And I don't know why I honestly hate the way I did her fringe. I don't know why I did it like that. I think I seen a picture of like a furry somewhere and I was like, I like that hairstyle, and I tried to add it onto a Sonic, and obviously at the time my art wasn't that good and it just came out looking like this. And you can see here as well the art style was completely different. I tried to do lineless for a wee while and just paint, and it comes off really soft. I mean, it shows you that I tried, right? I should maybe like try again, but a wee bit better than that. So this is when Rain, she became a wolf, and she was that for the longest period of everything else, until obviously our current one now. But kind of keeping with the same colours, it didn't really change. Once it went black and red, she kind of, that was her longest colours of the time. And then you can see here in this one, I've changed her eyes back to a darker colour, but kept her as a wolf. But everything still seems quite moody. All my pictures are like dark, I don't know. Maybe I need to draw some during the day and happy. I've always just drawn dark images. Still had no idea at the store at this point, and we're like two years later and I still had no idea of what kind of story I was doing. I think for Rain, I kind of just made her come off as, because I know she did do a big character change when I did eventually make her into her final design, but she was more of like a rebel and kind of just did crimes and like to just be annoying. Like, she came across as the one that just annoyed everyone because she was just toying with people, if you get me. Then there's the next one. Now there isn't too much of a design change in this one. More of just my art dramatically progressing. I decided, because purple had always been my favourite colour, I was like, I'm just going to put it into an item of her clothing. Because I remember this picture. Like, I was so proud of it. It was so good. Had that, yeah, it says my ID. It was my ID on DeviantArt. So I started doing the blue under her eyes because I was trying to think of... Oh, wait, you can see on her shoes as well in this picture. Her shoes. They're like silver shoes because I ended up, at this time it was like Sonic 09 had obviously been out for like 2 years at this time. But I really liked silver, so I wanted to put aspects of silver into Rain. I just took his shoes. But the blue on her eyes was meant to be the beginning stages of me thinking about dragons, because for the longest time I have always loved dragons, but I was always like too scared to make that jump to try and make her a dragon, and wolf was like the next best thing under that. So pardon me, I don't quite remember exactly what the markings on her eyes did for her. It was just like a marking of some sort that eventually would be progressed into. She had those when she was going to transform into her dragon form. Because before I made her a full dragon, I made her just, well, she's not still a full dragon, she's a half dragon, but she was more wolf than dragon. But still was just playing about with it, wasn't too sure on it just yet, but I knew it was something. I'm telling you now, something was coming. So this one, same again, the exact same design, but with the R on her necklace coming back. Yep, kind of just kept her as a wolf. Like I said, I kept her this way for the longest time, and then it wasn't till I decided to take the plunge. There's maybe someone that you know online, she's called Sabrina the Tiger, and she, I feel, really, I've known her for a long time, but I felt like she inspired me by looking at her character being a tiger. It didn't look like the normal Sonic characters that we had, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the plunge and actually do it. So I made Rain finally be like a dragon, where I completely changed everything about her. You know, you can see the hair has still got the red, but I wanted her to be dark blue, and when you looked at her you could say, oh, she's a dragon, instead of going, you know, what species is that? But you can see that even in today's drawings of Rain, she kind of wears the same clothes. It's because from this stage not too many things started changing. You can see her eyes, this is when her eyes became dark and started becoming blue. That's the way they were. And I first started experimenting with her tendrils, as I'll call them, her tendrils, which are the bits that come out of her head, and then also her, I don't really know what to call them, the gill-like features. This one, still the same. These clothes in this picture are just for the picture. I was trying to do like a steampunk idea. And I think, Ferret, you've seen this one because I think you sent me this the other day. But yeah, you can see that this one's closer to where she is now. And I like the idea of having her with the red hair, but the purple kept coming back to me since it is my favourite colour, and I decided I'm going to make her have purple. And that's where we get to here. Rain, basically looking exactly how she is now, purple hair, except she's dark blue, dark bluey purple. Oh wait, before I showed you that picture, I probably should have clicked on this one. This one this picture here was drawn by my best friend at the time, Gemsy, and I had said to her, I still want to keep the idea of Rain being like a dragon, but could you just make it a wee bit like of a boof on it, because she was a really good artist, and I was like, please just do something, like help me with our design, and she very kindly did, and she gave Rain the really long hair. I explained to her that I wanted her to be like a goddess, and this is what she came up with, and I was like, stunned. So you can see that really not a lot has changed. So this one was like the one. This is basically how she is. I don't mind if someone was to use this as a reference. It's not really used now, but everything is basically the same. You know, she's got the tights and the clothes that she wears is basically the exact same. All down to like the jewellery. Sometimes I still do, even in the back of her hair, these baubles. I still do, you know, like pearl baubles. Still do that, and the long drape. The only thing I maybe don't do as much is the multicoloured bits on her tendrils and her tail. Sometimes I add them, sometimes I don't. And one of the other things that changes is her hair length, but her hair colour is basically the exact same. Her hair length just changes because it's just depending on how I feel about it. I didn't want to be stuck to like one certain length. I didn't mind changing it to short or long, wavy, curly. I just really didn't mind. I wanted to be able to like have that freedom to choose in the moment what I wanted, because when I did this one, then you see the picture I just showed you a minute ago, I still kept her hair long, and then this one was the first time that I kind of went short and curly. Oh, sorry. And you can also see with the highlights on this one, she's almost looking lighter. Like, she's not that dark blue anymore. She's becoming a more lighter skin toned dragon. This is when I started going, I actually prefer her being lighter skin, because another inspiration for her being such a dark skin tone. Oh wait, I've skipped something. I skipped a picture. Oh, this one. Oops. Let's backtrack a wee minute. Because this is where I was going to say this. This picture is then where the blue thing on her face comes back in as a wolf, and she becomes like half wolf, half dragon. And you can see the colours are completely off. Like, it was a really saturated blue and really saturated, like, dull, dark, but saturated reds to try and begin to have the idea of what kind of dragon I wanted her to be. So I knew I wanted it to be a type of blue. And see, I gave her horns as well, but I didn't think it worked. 2010. So 2010, I'm already thinking about the dragon, and it actually takes me 4 years till I actually take the plunge. I love this picture. I honestly wish I could draw this picture again. I've thought about it so many times because it was one of my favourites. I was just like, oh, because I also wanted to try and bring in my Japanese interest with them wearing kimono, but now I kept it more along, like, in the lore, because they didn't, Rain and that, they don't wear kimono, you know, it's became a thing, tattoo on her back of her neck. They had made like a clan symbol and everything, but it's something that I guess I could bring back. 2015, where this is actually a redraw of an old picture. Well, she was a wolf. I redrew this one. This is when I started thinking, yeah, I don't mind experimenting with her hair, because you can see I've made it blue. It was just blue on top with purple, and she's the lighter skinned, still got the blue eyes. I was just really playing with it. This is when I was like saying, I don't mind changing it. And then this was our ref at the time. And then going on to 2017, the next year, started trying to add armour. I had seen some armour, like women, and it was kind of like a sexy armour, and I wanted to try and do something similar for Rain. And I also added some spikes, you know, coming out, and I thought this could actually be something that's on her body, like coming out. Sometimes I add it, sometimes I don't, because I'm just indecisive on it, I guess, whether it is an actual one. And I think I did this as a speed paint as well, because this one I was so proud of. The only thing is you can't really see the background properly. It was like a cave. A cave with like blood. So you can see, like, from my very early first drawings of when I've got Rain covered in blood. Oh, well, here we go. 10 years later, still covered in blood. Oh, she's a dragon. She gonna eat ya. And then I'm going to miss out that one, the 2018 one. And the 2018 one, it's just, she's went, so in this picture she's more blue, but in the 2018 one she went more pinky. And then the ones that I've got now, because even in these ones, the skin tone's more bluey purple, whereas now 2020, I don't know where my 2019 ones are. I don't know if I drew. Oh, my 2018 pictures of Rain are mostly sketches. Like, I didn't actually colour in a lot of pictures in 2019, I think. Yeah, that was last year. Oh my god. So, like, in this one, I'd seen so many people draw with, like, Photoshop, and I don't know how they painted, but mine were, like, really bad. Like, this one I uploaded, like, that was me trying to figure out how to blend on Photoshop, and it was just coming out so bad. But when I watched other people, they seemed to get it so right, but I hated it. I really hated it, and I uploaded it anyway because I was like, well, at least I tried. And this one I absolutely love. It got so many views on YouTube, and I don't know how. So this drawing style was like, where you colour it even outside the lines, and you go in and you erase it. Also, I'm doing a join me with people watching, pure mid conversation. I should have just edited all that out, but I didn't. Holding Chibi Rain. With this picture, you can see this is the one that I actually showed you earlier. And I like these speed paints and going back and looking at them to see how I drew at the time, because now, like, I don't draw like that. In this one, you've just seen, like, I just started off with the eyes and just went in and eventually filled out the body. But instead, normally what I would do is, or what I do now is, I start off with the circle, as some of you have seen in my previous streams. God. Like, I already start off with like a base bunch of, so see all this? This is me trying, I'm making it harder for myself instead of just doing, there you go. I totally skipped it. Instead of just doing the shapes and filling it in, I'm making it easier for myself. With my characters, they only so far just feature in like my own drawings or drawings that my friends do. I did start at the beginning of the year my own comic on Twitter, but because the coronavirus started happening, I've kind of just delayed drawing it, but I kind of should get back into it. It's called The Sins, and it's about my character's involvement with discovering the 7 deadly sins in another realm, and how the sins impact the people of that universe. Like a long time ago, probably when I was a bit younger, I tried to do a comic to kind of explain the backstories of some of my characters, but I ended up not liking it at the time and being really embarrassed about it, so I stopped. And now when I look back at it, I'm like, man, you know what, at least I tried. At least I did something, and even if it looks shit, like the art is rubbish or whatever, at least I did something. So now my mindset at the beginning of the year was like, even if I don't do the poses or I can't draw it very well, like I'm not good at anatomy or angles or just comic book paging, like the layout or whatever, then all that matters is that I tried. That's really just the moral of the story, I guess. But I have stopped for now, but I would like to go back into it because I've still got that mindset. I would say in the last 2 years I've seen a massive development, because I always got frustrated at drawing my characters, like in the speed paint right here, she's like in the same position, standing the same way, facing the left or right, with the same face, not in any kind of pose. Like, it's nice, it's a nice picture, but when that's all you do, it kind of is like, oh, you did another picture of your character standing in the exact same position again. I ended up getting tired of it, and eventually it just hit me when I was like, you know what, I'll challenge myself to not draw in that position again. Like, Kettle, you are not allowed to draw that pose for like the whole year. I challenge myself, like, if you do good, you can draw that pose if you want, only if you've done more than just that one standing pose. So when I got my iPad and I started, in doing poses at first was really difficult. I then I had to look up references and look at what other people did, watch some speed paints, and just instead of constantly, because that's what I eventually did at one point as well, was I just kept watching instead of actually doing it. So I actually decided to put it onto, we don't say paper, put it onto the tablet and actually do it. Put it into practice instead of just constantly watching all the time, because that was a bad habit I ended up doing as well. I just watched videos instead of actually doing it. And I did it, and I've got uploaded them onto my Instagram, where I could literally click through and see all through the weeks that I'm doing a different pose, every day, every week. And some of them, like, I even don't mind, like, I traced like real people, like poses of references, just to see how you did get that proportions and just the positioning right. But I didn't use them or anything, it was just for my own study. And then until eventually I started putting the picture on the side and referencing it, to then not needing a picture and just trying with the shapes. And sometimes they did look really bad, but sometimes you need to get them to look that way. You need to accept it looking shit sometimes, because we're too much wanting everything to be perfect. So I've definitely learned that don't worry if it comes out shit, because I used to get very upset. Like, I used to get so angry, like cry at how much it frustrated me if I didn't get the face right in one try. Then I would just sit and literally cry. Like, honestly, this was the patience. It's not working. And then that would be it. I'd be so angry and be like, and then try again. And it didn't work, and I'd be like, I'm not drawing anymore. And that was it. no patience for it, and after doing that for so long, I was like, eventually I was like, you know what, I can't keep going like that. You need to shut the fuck up and just calm, draw it. See this bit? It's not working. Don't bother about it. Don't get stressed. Just no stress, because you're just getting upset. There's no point. Life's too short. And so now I do my poses, and in that year, last year, I didn't mind if I didn't actually finish any renders, like any full pictures like this one. I allowed myself just to have that as long. My goal for the year was just to get the poses instead of doing the same pose over and over again. So after I did that, and I did manage to do it, so I was like, yes, I did it. You know, it felt like such an accomplishment, and I know they were all just sketches. People were probably like, God, she never actually finishes anything. But I was like, I'm not going to put that stress on me and just actually finish it. This picture for this one is the first time I got my Cintiq, like drawn on a big boy monitor instead of staring at a screen with your tablet down here, like you can't see it. This time it's actually on the screen. This one I tried to like experiment with the backgrounds as well. But really, so just as I was trying to get back to what I was saying a wee bit ago, this year was really just trying to actually do finished pictures. I'm not too stressed about it because obviously a lot is going on this year. It's crazy, so I'm not stressed about the comic. That's why I stopped it, because I was like, man, there's so much going on. Like, I wanted to try and do the comic where I got like a comic page out once a week, like for the whole year, but because obviously so much did go on, I was like, I'm not going to feel too stressed out about it. To show you how many views it got, 12k views. Like, I normally get like 5 views on a video, but this one gets 12k, and then the rest are all like 20 views. Our design makes her look like a full dragon, but she is a half dragon. And in my lore, which is called Zulvuir, so that's the name of the universe, Zulvuir universe, and she comes from a kingdom called Loctavanium, and it's basically the kingdom of dragons, or in this sense I'll call them Dove because it's inspired by Skyrim's Dove. So she is the current queen of it. She was raised there to be queen by her mother Elena, and she's very understanding. She kind of just does what she has to do in order for her kingdom to run smoothly. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is or who gets involved. As long as her kingdom is safe, she will do literally anything for her kingdom. Like, over her family, kingdom will come first. That's just kind of the way that the Dove see it as, because the Dove in my universe, they don't have families. They just produce to have soldiers. Really, that's all she tries to do, because I want to keep it for the comic. So with Rain's current design, I would say it's probably not going to change. So obviously, as you saw when I was going through Rain's designs, it did change a lot. She's stayed a wolf for a very long time, and then now she's a dragon. She's been a dragon since 2013, and I really don't think that's going to change. The way she is now is the way she's going to be, because I've already gotten a tattoo of her, and I can't change that. So I'm really happy with the way she is. The final question from Farrah is, what would Rain do after she finished as a queen? I think she would generally maybe just try and live out like a normal life. Maybe it's what she's always wanted. Has she wanted to be queen? Or did she just do it? We don't know. But I think she would like to try and live life as a normal, the mortal side of her instead of the dragon side, and doing her duties, I think. The throne next is, Rain has 2 heirs right now, called Sorsha and Aznara. They're both, normally it would be the eldest one that takes it, but because they are both competent heirs, Rain's deciding to make it a challenge to see whoever she believes will be the best heir. So they're both in the middle of going through challenges to be the one that's picked to be the actual heir. If there's any other questions, I'll answer them in the chat or like in DM or something. I'll wrap that up there, guys. Really, thank you for coming along. That's meant a lot since I've went into everything that I can. Okay, thank you, guys. See yous.